I went to the movies this weekend and I watched Dark Phoenix. That's the correct title, apparently. There's no X-Men at the beginning of the title. It's just been added for territories like the UK where we might not be able to tell that it's an X-Men movie. Maybe we think it's another Captain Marvel film because it's basically the same. I've seen almost all the X-Men films in the cinema. I think the only one I skipped was Origins Wolverine because it was boring and I'd heard it was boring and I had no interest in seeing it. So I faithfully trooped along to my local multiplex yesterday lunchtime and watched Dark Phoenix, and it made me think of an entire cast and crew working their notice. They've been given 3 months' notice, but they still have to make the movie. So everyone's just going through the motions, making the least amount of effort. Jennifer Lawrence is completely checked out. James McAvoy can't really be bothered. Michael Fassbender he's still just working away, doing a professional job, but not making any special effort, and his character is totally irrelevant in the movie. The upshot of the whole thing is that it's set in 1992. It's the 90s now for the X-Men, and they've become famous. They're well known. They're like international rescue. They go off and help people when there's trouble, and they're popular. And they go off on a space mission. And Jean Grey, who's got super strength, telekinetic and telepathic powers, absorbs a space cloud, and it starts to mutate her and give her incredible powers that are vaguely defined. But there's also some alien people after her, and she's angry that she discovers that Professor Xavier has lied to her about her past, about how she came to be at the X-Men in the first place. But that doesn't really pay off, and there's lots of things that happen, and nothing's really connected together. The leader of the aliens is played by Jessica Chastain, who appears to be in some kind of coma. For an Oscar-nominated actor, she is visibly not giving a shit. She could hold up a sign saying, "When can I go home?" Because everyone involved in this production doesn't care, or is just doing a professional level job. Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, excuse me. I'd only seen her in the previous X-Men film because I've only seen a few episodes of Game of Thrones, and I'm sure she was in the ones that I saw, but I really have no memory of her because they were early episodes and she's quite a minor character early on, I think. Based on this, she's a terrible actor. She can't express emotion. She can't deliver dialogue convincingly. She's just awful. And giving such an important role in the story to someone who can't act is bizarre. I mean, it would have been more credible to have me playing that character because I can express emotion on camera. Ooh, like that. This is my show reel. So it's really badly written and heavily reshot as well. Quite late in production, they decided just to refilm the whole third act because it was too much like either Captain America Civil War or Captain Marvel. They don't seem to be able to decide which is which. The acting is terrible for the most part. The direction is perfunctory and dull. It's directed by Simon Kinberg, and it's his feature directing debut. He's been a writer and producer on the X-Men movies for the last decade or so, and he doesn't seem to have done very much aside from that in that time. So it's just very functional, dull, workmanlike direction, like a conveyor belt. Only once in the whole film does it actually come to some kind of life, and that's that there's a battle sequence towards the end of various X-Men characters of various factions all joining forces to fight a common foe, and all using their powers individually and working together, using their different powers in concert. And it actually comes to life. This is interesting. This is great. Everyone is sort of acting individually, but acting as a team for a common goal. This is good, but it's so little, so late. This is the finale of the X-Men movies. Now that 20th Century Fox, which had the rights, has been bought by Disney, The X-Men are going to be folded into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not straight away. It's going to be a few years until anything comes to fruition. But this is the end of the road. And the idea that this is the last film, and Logan, which was easily the best film of the whole series and one of the greatest superhero films ever made, that should have been the end point, because it ends perfectly. It has the perfect ending. Totally unearned from all the other movies, but a great film in its own right. Instead, it's this. It's a removable epilogue that you can tear out of a book. It's the second crack at The Last Stand, which I thought was sort of okay. A lot of fans hated it. And it's done even worse business than The Last Stand, because as I'm recording this, the box office results for the opening weekend of Dark Phoenix have come in, and it's bombing. It is a total flatline disaster. And it's really not surprising, because no one cares anymore. We've had Apocalypse just let all the air out of the big budget X-Men movies by being bloated and dull and completely pointless and having really no idea what it was doing. And then you had Logan, which was the natural conclusion. And now they're just carrying on doing them. And apparently they were going to make more. But maybe we should be thankful that this is where the line is drawn, because Dark Phoenix is one of the worst films I've seen this year, and it's probably one of the worst, if not the worst, X-Men movies. So don't go and see it, because it's dreadful.